The following is a video presentation of a morning worship service at Orrville Baptist Church.
I'm sorry. My name is Trey. I'm the pastor here. You might not recognize me with this new jacket on that I've already got so much confusion and trouble over. Glad you're here this morning. It's an honor and a pleasure for us to join together as the body of Christ, to be called to worship and to know understand our calling for worship. And that's why we're here this morning. I want to bring a few things to your attention. This week, we announced last week we're going to have a business meeting after this service. We're not. We're still revising. Things are going over, so we're going to push that back a couple of weeks. We will announce, I'll let you know for sure exactly when that's going to be, but no business meeting after today's service. I do want to announce that we had our Orrville cook-off last Sunday, and old Ruby over there took home the trophy, and next year she'll have to defend her title. That's good news by itself, and everyone did a great job. The real good news is that after voting that night, and then some anonymous donations, and then some more donations from our own people, on top of that, we are at $500 from that one dinner. I told a few people, not that it's a bad thing. I thought we might get 120, 130, kind of in that range, and for us to have that fund at 500 is great. It's really, really good. It proves we can do a lot. I do want to share one thing. I told Wednesday night crowd, this person didn't want it to be a big deal, and I'm not going to make it into a big deal, but I think you just would like to hear it. I think it's nice. On Facebook, the night of the cook-off, we shared about what happened, and somebody who's not affiliated with this church, has never even been to this church, doesn't know us, they saw it and said, well, I just want to help out and give some, and even they donated. It was just a very sweet thing for them to do. They didn't have to, they wanted to, so it was just a really good night. Everybody voted and gave $1 per vote. Next year, if you did not come this past year, your vote is $2. We'll raise even more money. I'm just kidding. Be keeping in mind as you go grocery shopping throughout the week. Still taking in items for our food pantry. I've kind of been repeating myself a lot, and with good reason. We're doing a great job stocking up and restocking. Think about summer items, canned fruit, things like applesauce, anything that's got a can. Make sure you use one that's an easy open lid. We'll even take bottled water, Gatorade, those kind of things. But just keep that in mind as you're out and about throughout the week. We're going to bring two things to your attention on the prayer list. One, keep Faith Rapp. She's already on the prayer list. But keep Faye and Mike in your prayer. She had to go to the hospital Friday. Just kind of a lot of pain still. They're still kind of working to figure out exactly what's going on. But she had to go back and hospital. She's already had a tough run and then had to go back and just deal with an incredible amount of abdominal pain. So please pray for her. And I have a note. I'm not sure the first name, but please keep it your Miss Helms, Helms. Keep Miss Helms in your prayer. She fell and she broke a vertebrae in her back, and she's in a hospice for treatment. And so we certainly will lift her up in prayer. That's tough. It's a tough recovery. It's not fun. So please pray for Mrs. Helms. Before we open up, I don't do this a whole lot. Before we open up in prayer and continue on our worship service, I already told you I'm honored for us to gather as the body of Christ. Truly, truly honored. Within the past week, there was a hearing in our government, and a gentleman was being considered for an appointment for a position in government, and he was questioned by a man who, to be honest, could not win his own party, much less the presidency. And I don't know if you saw how this person, this candidate was treated. It just resonated with me as we were going through Acts. We talked about persecution kind of starting as a whisper. And it starts off real small. This candidate was basically asked, and now listen, this is from government. This is from the state. This candidate was asked, you said that people that don't affirm Christ as Savior, they stand condemned. Is that what you believe? And he said, well, I affirmed part of the post that I made, and it's in alignment with a Christian college that I went to, and so that's where I stand in my faith. I'm a Christian. And just over and over he was asked, is this truly what you believe? Is this truly what you believe? Is this truly what you believe? And it ended with this candidate being told by this man, this is not the kind of people that America is made of. This is not what America is about. Basically saying people like you are not people fit for office. I'm telling you, this is how it begins. I'm not saying that it's going to come next week or next month or next year, even 10 or 20 years. That's not what I'm getting. This is not a scare tactic. I'm just letting you know that it begins with a whisper. And right now, you're starting to see it. People are now being questioned and now being told they're not fit to hold government positions. Think about that for a moment. Not being told to hold government positions because of their faith in Christ. Because they actually believe that Christ is the only way to salvation. You don't see any other faiths being asked these questions. It's Christians. That tells me one of two things. The Bible is right, and it tells me another thing. Christians are right. It tells me we know the truth. And we will stand up for the truth. Orrville Baptist Church, I ask you this morning, who is your king? Who? Jesus. We will not back down from that whatsoever. I'm really not trying to make this a scary thing. But whether it comes next week, whether it comes 50 years from now, we will stand in the name. We will pray in the name. We will do ministry in the name. We will preach in the name. We will believe in the name. We will tell the name of Christ to everyone. This is who we are. And this is why we gather for worship this morning, to exalt the name of Christ. Let's go. How often do I forget stuff during announcements? It wouldn't be the same if I didn't. Vacation Bible School pamphlets are located in the back. He would be picking these up and looking over these. Goes over basically an overview of the week, the days, and more information for DBS. They're located back if you'll pick those up. I promised I would announce that in the announcements, and guess what? I didn't. So here you go. Again, this is a funny timing, but right into my illustration. Before we begin my announcement for the sermon, we've got BBS coming. I want you to disregard that pamphlet. And I want you to disregard the signs we've got out. And if some of y'all probably been asked to volunteer for stuff, right? Raise your hand if you've got a little position for BBS. I don't know, you see more hands. All right, Sam opened the door like, what's happening now? I want you to forget everything you've been asked. Sam, sorry, I hate to hijack your BBS, but throw it out the window. Just throw it out. The dates, forget it. The time, forget it. I don't want you to be thinking about any of that BBS. Instead, here's our new plan. Sometime next month, we're going to have Vacation Bible School. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. Don't be worried about what do I do, or what position should I have, or how should I volunteer. Look, if it's meant to be, if the Spirit is really moving, it'll all work out. It'll be fine. If the Spirit's really working at Orrville, or DBS, everybody will just kind of go, I know what to do. It'll get organized. The kids will come. The neighbors will come. It'll all work out just show up sometime next month. It'll be fine. Does that work for everybody? That sound right? I mean, yes, amen, something. Is that fine? Oh, Mike? Mike's excited about this new plan. He can't wait to show up one day next month. What do you mean you don't know what day? I just said, if it's God-oriented, if God really wills it, He wants it, He'll let us know when to just kind of pop in. And so will the community, they'll know. And you'll know your job and all that. The Spirit will have all the things. We just need to come together as a church and do this all together. Amen. You see, funny, the way I want it. A lot of times we kind of think this way. We kind of get upset over organization. I want you to disregard all that. Please come during the dates and the time. If you have a volunteer role, Sam, yeah, okay. He popped in just to shake his hand, yes. Please do those things. But why doesn't that work? To say, well, if we all just kind of do the right thing and we know that God's involved, it'll all work out. Why don't we do that? Why not? You don't know what time, there's no organization, there's no information. I didn't give you information, I didn't tell you what day. I just said, hey, just pop in sometime next month. No information, no organization, there's no structure. You don't know what to do, and you don't even know when to do what you don't know what to do. You don't have a clue. And so how could it possibly work? I can't just say all that and expect you to just magically, whoop, it all works out. It just does not work. There's something I hear a lot that, I'll be honest, it hurts me. I'm sharing faith or talking about God. We get into a conversation about the church or why are you a Baptist? Y'all are just me. Any of that stuff. Inevitably, almost inevitably, I get kind of the same regurgitated response. And I say that, and it sounds harsh. I try to be loving and understanding. I am. But almost on cue, I will get this response. I just don't believe in organized religion. Sometimes I'll even be told this. Listen, I love God. I even believe in Jesus. And He's my Savior. But I just don't like organized religion. Now, on the flip side, there are times, trust me, there are people who have been hurt by the church. Do not get that wrong. There is a real problem that has existed throughout the church, and that's that we're sinful people. There are people who have been hurt by the church. So I don't want to demean that or belittle that. That's a real thing. Spiritual abuse is a very real thing. And we can and must do everything we can to combat that. At the same time, however, I ask a question in response when I hear that. I ask people a question. I say it very lovingly, and I try not to sound sarcastic. But if someone tells me, I just don't like organized religion, I say, well, what's the opposite of that? They kind of just, well, there's a word for the opposite of that. It's called chaos. Chaos. Can you imagine if we tried to just do that with everything that we do? I believe in organized religion, so you just kind of roll with it. It opens up the doors for anything and everything. Think about the Corinthian church. What was going on with them? They had masks, and they were just running the run. People were doing what they wanted, how they wanted. And it didn't work. So people will say, I just don't believe in organized religion. And I can't help but ask, well, what do you propose being different about it? There's nothing. Anything goes. That's throwing truth out the window, and I'm not interested in that. So I try to understand and be understanding, but I also have to ask that question. What's the opposite of that? It's chaos. It can quickly turn into a form of legalism if we're not careful, and just on the opposite end of the spectrum, it can turn into anything goes. There's a problem there, a major problem. And so what we want to do as a church is we want to have order, but we don't want to quench the Spirit. We want to have order without quenching the Spirit, but we also want to be so eager for the Spirit to move in the church that we don't want to misinterpret our man-made kind of plans and inventions for what God's doing. You see what I mean with that? We want to have a real order, but we also don't want to be so legalistic that we're not asking the Spirit to move and how the Spirit move within us. We don't want to do that. We also don't want to be so open-ended that just anything goes. And then we start saying, well, just because I want to do that, then that's exactly what God wants. No. We want to ask God first. What is it that you want with your church? We get some good information in Acts. At the end of the day, the whole organized religion excuse is just that, it's an excuse. Exactly. People really need to have their heart changed and transformed to understand why the body of Christ exists and why we're here. It also means there's probably some churches that need to have reformation. Churches that have once had this real love for God, and they kind of lost that love. You go back and pinpoint what's the problem here. Because sometimes we do get too steeped in what we've always done, that we just kind of got the Spirit to move on. You're not needed here. And so, as we open up chapter 6 of Acts this morning, we begin to see something new in the church. It's a very different message than what we've been doing lately. Lately, we've had this talk on persecution. We've seen this kind of pattern emerge where there's persecution that hits the church, and then what do the apostles do, the disciples do? They say, we can't stop preaching about this man, they continue on. And then they are called back in. The punishment gets a little bit more severe, over and over. They say, we can't stop preaching Jesus. We have to do the work of Christ. And then we get to chapter 6, and it opens with a strange event that we're not really accustomed to seeing so far in Acts. And so you see these 7 men, they're placed into leadership positions, leadership roles, and it's kind of an undefined term. They're not called deacons, but they're kind of like a forerunner to a deacon, is the best way I can kind of put it. There's not really, we don't get an official name for this position, but they are given leadership roles. And so it's easy to kind of see them as kind of the first uncalled deacon in the Scriptures. It's interesting. One of them is a man named Stephen who has a major part in Acts as we continue on, especially in the next couple of weeks. Philip as well. So let's jump into God's Word. And I want to start at verse 1 of chapter 6. And we will just read, first thing this morning, read verses 1 through 7. So let's jump right in. Now at this time, while the disciples were increasing in number, a complaint arose on the part of the Hellenistic Jews against the native Hebrews, because their widows were being overlooked in the daily serving of food. So the 12 summoned the congregation of the disciples and said, "It is not desirable for us to neglect the word of God in order to serve tables. Verse 3, therefore, brethren, select from among you 7 men of good reputation, full of the Spirit and of wisdom, whom we may put in charge of this task. But we will devote ourselves to prayer and to the ministry of the word. The statement found approval with the whole congregation. They chose Stephen, a man full of faith, of the Holy Spirit, and Philip, Prochorus, Nicanor, Timon, Parmenius, and Nicholas, a proselyte from Antioch. And these they brought before the apostles, and after praying, they laid their hands on them. Lastly, verse 7. The word of God kept on spreading, and the number of the disciples continued to increase greatly in Jerusalem. And a great many of the priests were becoming obedient to the faith. First thing I'd like for us to see as we open up with chapter 6 is that global impact begins with local structure. Again, very strange topic for us to go over after what we've been through so far in 5 chapters of Acts. But that first thing I want to see is that there's a global impact that begins with a local structure. In other words, if you don't have organization on the small scale, how on earth do we plan on doing things on a much bigger scale? What were the apostles promised in the early chapter of Acts 1? You will go to Jerusalem and where? Judea and Samaria and the world. And so if you can't start off with some semblance of what's going on, how on earth are you going to go to the world? And now we're coming to a point in the life of the church where there has to be some sort of structure. There has to be. Everyone wants to be thought of and wants to be remembered for doing great big things. All of us. The early church had this. We have this today. We all want to be remembered for these life-altering movements and be remembered as giants of the faith for doing great big things. And sometimes we don't think about the unseen, quote, little things that happen behind the scenes. The little things in which we serve one another and serve God. Those big things don't happen without those little things running in the background. That's the point that I'm getting at. If we can't focalize on that, how on earth can we possibly move on, so to speak, to much bigger and grander things? The truth is, God does not look at this and say, well, you've done something big, and you've done something small, and that's better. No. He sees servitude. If people serve Him. Same way as sin. There's no sin meter. That one's worse than this one. We're all kind of laid out evenly. We're all destined for hell without a Savior. And much like service, God sees those unseen things that the rest of us don't pay attention to. And so there must be a local structure to start off with, and then branching out into, quote, bigger and sometimes what we would consider better, even though that's not true. We've established by now that in the New Testament church at this point is now thousands. And I mean thousands upon thousands, right? It seems like every 2 verses we're reading the same thing, and they were just growing, their numbers were being added daily. It's just a constant growth, this explosion of the gospel is happening in this area. What I would do to see this type of revival today. At some point, there's got to be a little organization. Because when you start getting to the thousands and the thousands and the thousands, and you just say, well, we don't really know what to do, it doesn't really work. That wouldn't work for our size. Simply say, well, somebody will get it, it'll work. It doesn't work. There's got to be some type of organization. And they're continuing to grow daily. And it wouldn't be church, right, if there was not something that caused controversy. And this time it's not over something real serious about light bulb wattage or toilet paper being 1 ply instead of 2 ply. It has to do with taking care of their own people. Taking care of the overlooked widows in the area. Don't you think that begins with Pentecost? We've done this a couple times. Think about the Pentecost event. People from all over have come. And people from all over have witnessed the speaking in tongues, this It's mighty sound, rushing wind, violent storm. They don't see it, they hear it. They come from all over and witness God at work in the early birth of the church, the pouring of the Spirit. And instead of turning back and going home, they stay. They're not dwellers of Jerusalem. They're from elsewhere. But they literally say no to home. And this is now our home. And this is our people. And this is our life. And this is our church. And they stay. It's really incredible when you are reminded of that, right? They came to this event. They just don't go home. And now they're part of the body of Christ. The Hellenistic Jews would have been Jews from areas of, they would speak Greek. They were Greek-speaking Jews. And when you see the native Hebrews, they spoke Aramaic. Forms of Hebrew. Pretty easy to figure that one out. Yes, they spoke differently. They had the same religious system and background. But along with a different language, they would also have cultural differences. They would have societal norms that distinguished them from one another. Not good or bad things, just who they were. They had differences among them. Unfortunately, what happened at some point in the distribution of foods or needs or funds, it would appear that the Greek-speaking widows were being overlooked. It looks like the native Hebrews were really taking care of their own. They were looking out for their own native Hebrew widows and were going to them first. Look, I don't have the account, I don't know, but I would be willing to guess that some of the differences they had between each other probably led to a little bit of that. It's a shame to say that, but most likely, I would say that happened. But they needed support. They needed charity. This is a major problem. It may seem small to a lot of people, but go back in time and ask the widows if this is a small problem or a big problem. They'll tell you it's a big, big problem. They're being overlooked. You see what I mean with our first point already? The church, even then, and even today, still, we tend to look at the big picture stuff, and rightfully so. We should. We should be thinking about the entire world. We really don't think too much about those, quote, small things. The things that often get overlooked. But again, ask the widows back then if this was a small thing or a big thing. They'll tell you it's a major thing. A major problem. And that's really all it takes. I'm kind of freestyle at this point, but that's really all it takes to stop in the middle of the church is just a little small problem that gets turned into a massive, massive problem. Ooh, do I have an illustration for you? This morning, getting ready for church. I have a routine. Wake up, get coffee, take the dog out, get dressed, take a shower, then get dressed. I don't get dressed, then take a shower. Get my stuff together, get my Bible, everything's ready to go. Unlock the door, go to the car, go to the garage, like clockwork. I had a little problem this morning, turned into a big problem. And it came back. This really happened this morning. This is not something like, this is not just an illustration for the purpose of it. This is real. Have I shared with you my thoughts on spiders? I hate them so much. I can't quite put into words my hatred for them, and yet God created them, so I love them, but I really hate them. And so there's this little tiny spider. No, there's this gigantic spider in the garage, the size of a small nation, and it's sitting there between us and the car. And I really don't do well with taking them out. And so real men, what they do is they go, they kill it. And what I do is go, all right, let's think this through. So I'm planning ahead how to do this. My routine to get to church is already messed up, and then we kill it, and then the babies off the spider, just start. And because my wife was there, and I have to look good for Katie, I go, oh, that's unfortunate. that spider. On the inside, I'm screaming in terror because I hate them so much. But even in that, just what should take 30 seconds took minutes. Just that one little thing. It took way too long for me to figure out what's going on. All it takes is one tiny, little, insignificant problem in the church to explode. To turn us into one another. That's all that it takes. And it has not stopped today, and you can see exactly kind of where it started, right here next. A division happens over overlooking widows, and it's a real sad shame. And now you've got chaos. One single oversight, and the potential to stop the church dead in its tracks. Do you see my local structure, small-scale structure must happen? I don't believe in organized religion. You better. Otherwise, we're not going to be very efficient at what we do. We're not going to be very consistent either. And you see this, right there in Acts 6, there's got to be some type of local structure if we're going to go and be who God wants us to be and do what God wants us to do. The second point for today is I want you to see that now local structure develops church leadership. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that it's just a good idea. I mean, it's kind of really out of necessity. If you're going to have a local structure, you had better focus on developing leadership in your church. Seeing leaders come through your church. You really have to. Look at verses 2 through 4 again. So the 12 summoned the congregation of the disciples and said, "It is not desirable for us to neglect the word of God in order to serve tables. Therefore, brethren, select from among you 7 men of good reputation, full of the spirit of wisdom, whom we may put in charge of this task, and we will devote ourselves to prayer and to the ministry of the word." And the apostles, they certainly had this unique leadership role in the church, unlike any other. They had a very unique kind of access, I would say, to the Spirit. They were healing people. At the same time, remember, they're just men. I think we're very guilty of this as well sometimes. Sometimes we kind of elevate the apostles to be supermen. They're not. They're men. They're just men. Raise your hand. Well, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll raise my hand. A lot of us are guilty to elevating Paul to something other than human. He's not. He's just a man. I've done that before. Start propping up Paul like he's Jesus Jr. He's not. He's just a man. And so you see what's happening right here with the apostles. This is brought to them. And I want you to think of something too. This is never given to us in the scripture, but you can figure it out. You remember a couple of chapters back when everyone was selling all their possessions and their houses and bringing all the funds? Who were they giving the money to? Remember whose feet they were laying it at? The apostles. And the apostles were rightly dividing it out. They'd grown so much that now they delegated that out to their own. Do you see that? They've grown so much that now they're having to get the native Hebrews to be the ones to do it because they can't handle it. It's too much. There's thousands upon thousands of people. They can't be the ones that's having to distribute this money. It has to be someone else. They're just men. I point that out because as humans, they can't be bogged down doing everything. Or else it won't be a very efficient, quote, system. And so it's not because they didn't care about the widows, it's not because they were heartless, it's because they had a priority. They said, we're going to be praying continually in constant communication to God, to deliver the message of God, to deliver the word. This is our part, this is why we're here. They said, we are here to be in this constant communication with Him, and to deliver the message of God, to deliver the cross, to preach Christ crucified, resurrected. This is kind of why we're here right now. And so they delegate those duties out. When you read, it's not desirable for us to neglect the Word of God in order to serve tables. That could mean meal, like a meal table, like a table for a meal. It could also mean the money. Like in the temple, money changers. They should have time to really be dealing with that. And it also doesn't say, the scripture don't also say that the apostles just handpicked who they wanted to do this. It doesn't say they said, oh, we'll sit down and we'll appoint these people. What does it say? You do it. You select 7 for yourself, and then we will kind of install them into this leadership position. Men of good reputation, literally in the Greek, men of good witness, and a good witness about themselves. Full of the Spirit, because you try to do anything in ministry without the Spirit and see where that takes you. Then also full of wisdom. All they need wisdom. Well, they're the ones who are making choices. They have to buy this. They better have wisdom in this new structure. They better have wisdom. They have to. Otherwise, it's going to fail. It's going to fall. So they need these 3 things. And so this unnamed position of distributing money or food or whatever it may be, they needed wisdom. They needed a good witness. They needed to be full of the Spirit. Don't tell me that God does not care about the so-called little things in the church. He cares very deeply about the, quote, little things in the church. Full of the Spirit to even do that task. Now each one of us, I don't care who you are, each one of us, together as a church, each one of us needs to be serving in some capacity. That's why we're here. To serve one another, to serve God, to honor God, to worship God, to glorify God. We do that in servant roles. Some of you may say, well, I do service in a very small way. Or I do service in a huge way. Or some of you might say, I do too much. Some of you say, I don't do enough. That's not what the point of this morning at all. The point is that even if you've got something that you consider a small servant role here in the church, it's a big deal. It's a really, really big deal. You might not get all the acclaim, and you might not get all the glory for yourself, but you don't need it anyways. God does. It's His, it's not ours. People might not see it, might not applaud us, that kind of thing. But look, He goes to that bigger picture of how we move forward together. Those quote-unquote little things. So understand this. Our service, your leadership, your roles, developing leaders here at Orrville, not only does this allow us to grow individually, it cultivates stability, it cultivates consistency, and it pushes us forward together. Together as one body. The apostles were not designed to do everything on their own. That was never the design of the church. That's not the way God designed His church. He gives us gifts. He gives us talents. He gives us abilities. He gives us conviction for ministry in the church. Each and every one of us is gifted in some way. He said, well, my gift's not that big a deal compared to others. Look, my king can paint and he can draw, and it is incredibly good, and I can't stand it for it because I want it to do it so bad. And some of you might be thinking to someone else, they've got this gift, and I really want to do that. Run with what God has gifted you. I do love you. I am envious of your heart, but I do love you. But you might have that feeling towards someone else over their ministry. Yes. Run with what God has given you. And look at what has been placed in the hearts of these Hellenistic Jews. That they come forward and point this out and say, this is what needs to happen. And then it's given to them. This brings us to our last point for today. Developing church leadership is a mark of the healthy church. You look at the names and you see what's happening with the church when this appointment happened. It says the entire congregation was happy about this. They all approved of this, of this new position that's been given. The apostles, after praying, they laid hands on them. We've been talking a lot lately in Acts about the purity of the church, the health of the church, the spiritual condition of the church. And having structure at the local level in the local church, it's incredibly important. Incredibly important because you inevitably have people serving God and each other in leadership roles. That is so very important. Again, this small event, think about what was actually happening, overlooking widows. This quote, small of it, it had the possibility of becoming a much larger problem, a much bigger problem. They were quick to address it. One of my favorite parts is found in verse 5. The statement had approval with the whole congregation. Everybody got on board with this. The entire church was on board with this. It's a good, really good picture of church unity right there. And just appointing these people. There's no revolt, there's no big fight, they agreed. It's a good idea. All the names that are listed there. You want to guess what kind of background each of those names are? They're Greek. They're all Greek. That will never happen again. Not today. Think back of what just happened. Hellenistic Jews come forward, they say, our own people, our own widows are being overlooked. And the church would most likely today come together and say, well, we'll just kind of, who wants it? Who wants to volunteer? We get some from you, from you, from you. Just kind of haphazardly. And the congregation comes together and they look and they say, well, who's got a good witness about them? Someone with good character. Who's men who have wisdom, who are, it's obvious that they're filled with the Spirit. They're walking with the Spirit. Who are these people? And they pick Greek-speaking Jews. The apostles were the ones who installed them as the people who selected them for this position. Now listen, it could have been very easy for the native Hebrews to say, well, I'm offended. And they would even bring this up. We've been doing our job just fine. How dare them come in here and bring this up to our attention? And instead, they're part of the church who puts them in place. I love that. I love that so much. Such a good picture of church unity. They could have been offended and been all mad. It doesn't happen. One commentator mentioned that the church noticed this was placed on their hearts, so they gave it to them. Oh, I love that so much. That's another problem in the church today. We've got this new ministry opening up. Who wants to do it? No. You do it. So someone's kind of funneled into doing something they have no passion about. I love the fact that the church would say, you're the ones who came up with this. You're the ones who have conviction over it. You should be the ones to lead it. When I say this right now, I'm honestly not poking anybody. I promise. I really am not. We have Vacation Bible School coming up. If you don't like children, please don't volunteer. I'm not being mean. I'm just being completely honest. If you don't like children, don't volunteer at VBS. Not only is that horrible for you, guess what that's horrible for? The children. That's terrible. So if you don't like kids, don't teach a class with kids in it. Stay away from it. It's the same. I mean, if you've got a sorry prayer life, do you really need to be leading a prayer group? Those kind of things. This is what I'm giving you. I love the fact that the church saw this conviction on their hearts and said, all right, you're going to be the one because you have the passion for it. That's what's going to make you go. That's so good. That's so good. So if someone wants to take a leadership role in the church and they've got something that God's placed in their heart, guess what? They should be given the opportunity to run with it. Someone comes and says, I have this great conviction over the homeless in our area. I want to feed them. I want to be there for them. There's no way you can go to somebody else and say, well, they should do it. They know what they're doing. You really don't. Oh, no. Get the ones that have this conviction placed on them from God. God's placed this on their heart. What a beautiful thing that happened in the early church. They would give this role to the Greek-speaking Jews. I love that so much. A healthy church. Listen, a healthy church is a church that has the people of God being used in a way that honors God and also promotes personal sanctification. There may be even some here this morning that says, I've always gone to church, but I've never really served or felt like I've served in the way that God wants me to. I'm encouraging you to do so. If there's a conviction ministry, an area that's been placed on your heart, I want to encourage you to run. I don't want to pass the buck to somebody else. I want you to run with it. Because God's put that on you. Spirit's equipped you for that. Called you for that. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I would encourage anybody, if they have these things in their heart, to come forward and we can see what we can do. We can provide structure and work these things out. That excites me in a very real way. So listen, I don't care if you're just buying a can of fruit, one can for the homeless, or I don't care if you're selling your house and put a missionary. One end and everywhere in between. Your heart and your service, it makes church a healthy church. And it gives us a great commission mindset. Big, small, everywhere in between. It pushes us all forward on the same path toward honoring God. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see what some pastors will set up a church. It's not an organization, it's an organism. I love that. That's really good. I just told that myself. It's a really good way to think about it. The living, breathing body of Christ right here this morning. Structure's not a bad thing. Organization's not a bad thing. It's a way for us to go, to be efficient and consistent in what we do in honoring God in all things. It's a quite beautiful thing. That last verse, the word of God kept on spreading, and the number of disciples continued to increase greatly in Jerusalem. And a great many of the priests were being obedient to the faith. Wonderful. How wonderful. This small little interruption turned into a great, big, mighty work of God. So the next time you hear someone talk about they don't like organized religion, you can use that as a great teaching moment, by the way. A great way to share your faith. How do you look into the cosmos, into the sky, into space? And how do you look at all that is around us and say, God does not care about the word? How can you look into this beautiful creation, knowing, do you realize this, that the sun was off its axis by half an inch, we're all dead. And all this is continually kept in place by the hands of our Creator. You see it detailed so delicately and so purposefully, and then to come away with the impression that God doesn't care about order. No, certainly does. God has a very strict order. It's a very strict plan. It's a very strict purpose. I kind of tell people all the time, people have strange beliefs about the cross and the crucifixion. Look, the cross was the plan from the beginning. God didn't just say, I'm going to create and see what happens. We'll just wing it. The cross is always the plan. Always. The sending of the Son was always the plan. Crucifixion, it pleased God. The resurrection glorified the Son. The call to worship for us, our very purpose in existing, all part of a process and a plan that was put in place well before we were even born. God cares very much about plan, purpose, and order. And He follows His to the T. If you have something you'd like to talk about, you have a quote-unquote decision that you would like to make this morning, I'll be down front. This evening, I'm excited. It's in the bulletin, right? If you look at our evening worship tonight, you may be thinking, wait, what month is this? Tonight we're singing Christmas songs. There's a reason for that. If you come tonight to find out why, leave it with that. Tonight we celebrate the sending of that Son and that purpose and that plan. I invite you to come tonight. If you'd like to come forward for an invitation to pray or to call, I encourage you to do so.